DRNOOBSAUCE.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
Hey, Hookah University, I am back. Yes, there's actually another classroom. I thought I was going to do anymore, but I lied. I lie. That's what I do. I lie a lot. And I am back, and it's really cool today because we're now coming down from the whole thing. We're just like chilling. We're just relaxing. We're smoking all our cool shisha, all our cool products. From what you ask, I could hear you. You said you guys loved the HEW 19, third year in a row. Fucking, it was a banger. The expo was a blast. All the cool things that happened that weekend was a blast. And now I have my good buddy, my former reviewer, Jake Jacobson, Hookah Rev himself. So everyone, a little round of applause to Hookah Rev. He's back, everyone. He's here. He's not packing a bowl. He's not packing a bowl. That is a rare thing. I will capture it on camera one day, maybe in the wild when he's just outside packing a bowl. We will get it. But we are here to talk about the expo, man. Like, you know, we want to know all the nitty gritty and, you know, how it stacked up to last year. We want to talk about the vendors in a official manner and get the take and the word from a deity, a god himself, someone who has the ability to turn invisible at the expo, but you know he's there because you might get like a glimpse of him, but you know he's working. Jake, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. That was quite an introduction, but in my defense, man, nobody asked me to pack the bowl. I always comply when I'm asked nicely.
You know what? You know what? That's okay. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do, we need to start a petition. We need to have a live Jake Jacobson Hookah Rev bowl pack. You know, we need to get this done together as a community. We can come together and make this scene happen. You know, 2019. This is the year of Hookah Rev packing bowls. So, dude, first of all, congratulations. The expo again was amazing. Everyone had a freaking phenomenal time. I had quite the experience, and I now know a little bit about what you guys go through, where you now don't get to just walk the floor and enjoy the fruits of your labor. You actually are in full work mode 100% of the time. Is that true for you?
Oh, 100%. And so even like, I mean, you guys put on a great event as well, but you got a little bit of a taste of it. I mean, it's a lot to coordinate.
I don't like the taste. The taste is bitter. It's rough. You have to literally drink about 15 White Claws, because there ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, to get that taste out of your mouth, man. But, like, if you were one of the thousands of people who showed up to this event, man, you got to enjoy tobacco, different types of pipe from all parts of the world. And now it's got to be really tough to put this shit together. Like,
dude, that's the pressure, okay? So when you peel all the layers of something of this magnitude apart, it's really that. You have 2,000, 3,000 people in a room. Everybody's got to have a good time.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong. We could do 99 things right, but do one thing wrong. It's like, okay, we gotta put out this fire, right?
When you said like 3,000 people, my anxiety just kind of spiked a little bit, because we had 180, and 180 doesn't compare to 3,000 people. But like my anxiety was through the roof. Like I had an out of body experience when you're trying to do something of this magnitude. So like from like your perspective, like, is it totally hard to get everyone on the same page and everyone being like, hey, listen, we're going to do this. We love to have you on board, right? Like, how many conversations happen to just get, like, this thing together? Like, thousands of conversations, like, nonstop hard work, basically, is what I'm hearing it goes into this.
It pretty much is. There's not one easy way to summarize what it takes to coordinate something like this, but essentially is that. Like, even when I try to explain it to like even my friends and family, it's really difficult to include everything that's involved. Yeah, it's a lot of conversations. I mean, you know, first and foremost, it's an event. You know, yeah, obviously it's an event. Secondly, it still needs to operate as a business, yes. Right? So, you know, everything has to be transparent. Everything has to be user friendly. And then thirdly, then you get the aspect of making sure that you're hosting properly.
Yeah.
Even when you invite someone into your house, like you want to make sure you're a good host. You're going on a trip, you want to make sure you're a good host. And it's the same thing. You're bringing all these people in together. First and foremost, you have to be a good host.
Yeah.
Now, you've got the vendor working parts to it. So people ask me too. There's more than 15 vendors, everything from electrical to contractors to building to printing. There's 15 vendors that are involved, over 15. I want to say it's 16. Then you've got, of course, the exhibitors is a top priority to make sure that they're organized and they have everything they need and all the information they need. And it's not small. It's not a small packet. It's a very big packet to have to know on point at all times. And then lastly, just the attendee side and just the distribution of information and the organization of information. No, I'm not gonna lie, man. When John and I linked up to do this for the very first time, we were like, it's probably like a solid 5-6 months of work, and because John has his businesses and I have my set of businesses.
Yeah.
I don't know how many that know, but my group runs a lot of.
We can definitely tell you guys are very hardworking. So it's like not only do they have to do the organizational setup, which falls on them, but they also have to get the vendors who are there. It's their experience and how they see their product being showcased in the right light, because every vendor has a different vision of how they want their product to be represented, and then on top of it, they're worrying about the people who are actually coming, the people who the event's for. They have to make sure their experience is above and beyond everyone else's as well as that. And it's a very tough thing. But you just touched on the topic. I don't think I asked you last time you were on here when John dropped out. It was just me and you shooting the shit for like 3 hours. But I did ask you, how did you get together with John? I know you guys have known each other for a while. It's been a while. But how did was John just drinking some wine one day and he's like, you know what, Jake? You're the man for the fucking job, dude. You know what? I need your fucking expertise and experience to fucking make this shit fucking gel together and fucking run it like a smooth fucking train. How did you guys come together and be like, you know what? This is gonna work and let's do this.
Yeah. I'm glad I can tell this story. So I wish it were that version where it's true to character to us. John's having a glass of wine, I'm having a glass of Tito's, but it really didn't even work out that way. It's okay. So this is how far back it goes. John and I met, I think it was about 9 years ago, or 8, maybe even more. I don't know. It's kind of been a blur.
Watch it, Jake. You're dating yourself.
For
dating yourself.
I'm definitely old enough to smoke. I can tell you that much.
You don't look it. You don't look it. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, that's how far back John and I go, and at the time, that's when I was really starting to ramp up and insert myself into the industry, getting my projects going, and on my side of things. And John and I linked up for a casual hookah. This was about 7 years ago. There was actually no alcohol involved. And we were just kind of brainstorming. This is what a lot of people in the industry do, is just on the back end of things. You want to brainstorm kind of which directions are things moving towards, kind of what's the future, development, all and collaborations on top of it. Mm-hmm. And then we just kind of both landed at the same thing. It was like, okay, so I'm participating in all these trade shows. John's participating in all these trade shows. And we just casually said, why isn't there an American hookah show? It just doesn't make sense. Okay. That was it. That was just it in passing. Fast forward, obviously I was busy with all my stuff. And then John, John did it the first year. Mm-hmm. He pulled off Hookah Expo the first year, and granted, it was in its growing stage. It was nowhere near of kind of the scale of what we just did 2 weekends ago. Mm-hmm. It was a start. It was a spark. And just like you've been saying, there's a lot that goes into coordinating something like this. And I don't care who it is, one person cannot do it themselves. It takes an army to pull this off.
It does. I completely agree with you. And I mean, for you, realizing, okay, John did this last year. You're coming into your first time. Look, he did it 2 years ago, and then you're coming into it last year, your first time. Were you like, what the fuck that I get myself into. Holy shit, this is a lot of fucking work.
I had a couple of those moments, but you know, on paper, like I map things out. I'm a planner. I'm a planner. I map things out, and I was like, look, man. I mean, I'm coming off of doing 12 to 15 trade shows a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's on a different scale, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's organization, right? Understanding how things are in an organization.
And it's also like you had the drive to be like, let's get this shit done, and let's not just get it done. Let's get it done fucking right. Let's do it like our way. Let's do it the way we envision this, and to make our reality and will this shit into existence is fucking.
No, big time. And it was like a big hats off. You know, for even outside looking in, it was a big hats off to John for having started it and, you know, taking the leap to do this, because I've said for years, Chris, I've said for years that if as a community and you know, as like a physical community, if there's not growth in that kind of aspect, it's going to cause things to become stale from an innovation standpoint, from an interaction standpoint. So I really liked where John's head was at. You know, my first question was like, look, we're not trying to get rich off of this. That's kind of the one thing that I'd really like to make sure that the intentions are clear. Because anytime two entities or two known, you know, like let's call them like two known people within the industry get together, it's like, what's the intent behind it?
Yeah. And everyone's mindset kind of like, you could be the best person, but you kind of also swing there like, what's their end game? Like, what are they doing? And you try like you're trying to say, like, you try to be transparent. You're like, listen, we're trying to raise the bar. We realize these people around the world are doing it, and they're doing it big, and they're doing it bigger and better every year. And people are realizing, oh shit, they're doing it in Brazil, they're doing it in Peru, they're doing it in Russia. You know, they're doing it in all these different places. And it's like, well, why are we sitting on our hands here? We can fucking do it. We have the resources. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, we have the community behind it. We have the intent behind it. And you know, that's what really attracted me at first. And so, I mean, really how this partnership came into fruition was, it was last year, early January of last year. So obviously a little bit of leeway time between when the planning actually started. I just called him because one of my core operations is a hookah distribution warehouse. So we supply wholesale to, and we've been doing it since 2012. So, you know, even on the back end and the distribution end of things, I'm calling John basically like, hey, do you know anybody that has this?
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, and this was from John's side, he's like, while I have you on the line, you interested in partnering up for the expo? I was like, what?
You caught him in his thought process.
Yeah, it was like, what? And then I was like, shit, that actually makes sense. And then, you know, we had one meeting, and just everything was in line.
Yeah.
You know, like we were very much on the same page, and it's like, man, I pride myself in holding the relationships and always being, you know, first and foremost a good person, whatever the situation might be, because in my opinion, that's what you die with. You don't die with your dollars. You die with your reputation or your legacy.
Yeah, there's a very strong thing. I'm very big advocate of being like, you can do it one of two ways: the wrong way, and you might still get the outcome, or you do it the right way. You treat people how they're supposed to be treated, with respect and stuff, and value everything that's going into it. But it seemed like you guys were like, because people are flexible, right? People can go back and forth, give and take and stuff like that. That's part of the decision-making process. But it's very important for people who are working together to be on the same wavelength, to be like, we have the same goal. And we know how to get there. So it's very important. So that was last year. This year, man, you have all that knowledge from last year going into it. Fucking Jake there with his fucking suit, looking like a fucking G at the door, greeting everyone. So this year, let's get into it, bro. Let's get into it. You guys added so many cool things. And one of the things I want to talk about, because my boy Julian's in here, the Hookah Bandits. You added like legit like music acts. You added people who brought like the bar up a little bit more, and not only like music acts. Like you can get music acts. It's fucking Vegas. You can get anyone. Like you can get like fucking. You can put an advertisement and get a bunch of people. But you guys went out there. You listened to the community. You saw what was going on. You saw fucking Splice and Julian, and you're like, these guys aren't just really good at what they do. They aren't just really talented musicians, because I saw Julian up there fucking doing the DJ shit. I don't know what he was doing, but it looked like magic to me. But they're fucking enthusiasts, man. They're in it. They're like 100% invested in the community, being like, yo, like once they done with once they got off the stage, it wasn't like, oh, let's go back and let's go to like hit up a bar or something. No, they were fucking there. They shot their own footage. They fucking made their own friends. They were smoking real mint out the ass, even though Cameron ruined their bowl. Cameron, you gotta pack them a new bowl. That's fucked up. You don't fucking purge someone's shit and walk away. That's messed up. That's bad etiquette. But they fucking went around everywhere. They tried all the products. They fucking were in it. They were digging the fucking Sokas. They were digging the MIGs. They were looking at the Russian pipes. They had a fucking blast. And thanks for bringing those guys on board, because I know they had a great time. Also being part of the community, and like it gave them like, you know, like a cool experience. It's awesome to see like, oh yeah, in the hookah community we also have people who are really fucking dope at music, and we have a lot of different people in this community. It just shows you that John and Jake fucking realized like, hey, they wanted to do music. Oh, we have enthusiasts that do music and they're fucking good at it, and we want to show you to them. So that's fucking dope. I just wanted to give a tip the hat to fucking Julia and Splice, because they fucking killed it. They killed it. For
sure. And I love that you brought that up, because the whole intent behind what we're doing here is to involve the community as much as possible. So like even this, like look at it from my perspective on like the back end side. So all the cool like vinyl wraps and doors and signage and all that. I have my set of vendors that I like to work with that have been reliable for years and all that. But here was a risk that I took, and I'm glad I took it. But now I can confidently say the vendor now, our graphic vendor, is part of the local Vegas hookah community. It's one of his other businesses that he just opened up. But look at the risk behind that. It's like, hey, we're putting on this whole thing. We need the window vinyls to be on point.
Yeah.
Just started up. Cool, man. I've known you for years. I've probably known this guy for a decade. I'm gonna just trust you.
Yeah.
You know, you love the community. You love the hookah industry itself. You know what we're fighting for. So boom, we use that. Julian and Splice, dude, these guys are awesome, right? It's just cherry on top. It's like, you know, you felt like what their intent was. They were just happy to be at the show.
They were having a blast. And on top of it, they were interacting with people. Like, they weren't like, oh, this is VIP, like, you can't be up here. No, people were coming up to them, shaking their hands. They had full fucking blown conversations with other people within the community. The thing is like this. It's very important to have the people relatable. You have to have the vendors relatable. You have to have, like, now you have the music act, which was super relatable. Like people felt like they could go up and talk to you. They weren't intimidated by your, like, presence or something like that. And that's super big to bring the community together more, you know?
Yeah. No, and it is, and you know, as cool as the performances were, we can't take full credit on those. So the amount of effort that, and this came about when Sir Bentley hit me up about this and was saying, hey, can we bring an act to the show? I was like, huh, okay. Yeah, this is, my hair is a little bit more down on this. We're speaking out loud.
Yeah.
You know, I get that kind of question. It's not just a yes or no. It's like a how do I pull that off? How do I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got to construct a stage, like a legitimate stage. Got to sound equipment, the DJ, the sound tech, you know, the permits, licensing music. I don't know where to stop. Dude. But I knew what their intent was. So Sir Bentley was really championing to get this going. So like I said, we can't take full credit on the acts and the performances, but the added entertainment and just, you know, adding to the experience of it was just surreal. So we did everything we could to support that with the signages and, you know.
But that's what you need. Like John and Jake, as you hear it, like you're hearing it. They have a lot going on, but also as community members, as people who want to see stuff like thrive and become bigger, we take a little bit of responsibility too. Like as like going to the expo, don't be an asshole. Like have a good time. Don't start no bullshit. You make it, you know. And the vendors like help out with this. Like, hey, if you have a fucking great idea, reach out to them and like be like, hey, what can I do to help? How can I make this like a bigger thing? How can I make this go smoothly? You know, and it seems like everyone's coming together. It's different from 3 years ago, man. And you can see it. You could feel it. You could feel that it's different from 3 years ago. But that's fucking awesome. Hats off to Sir Bentley and you guys for bringing in Julian and Splice and for them being so fucking awesome. Really quick, I want to look at the chat. I'm not ignoring you. This is what happens when me and Jake start talking. We fucking just go down the fucking rabbit hole. This is the only time we get to talk, because usually when we see each other in person, we're doing 1,000 things, and we don't even get to spend more than like 5 seconds. We just we give each other the wink from across the floor, like, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah.
So let's see what we got. We got a lot of people in here. Hey, Tamora Arby, what's up, buddy? Good job on packing those bowls for Tangiers, by the way. Those things were fucking roaring and they were going. Gregory, what's up? Awesome job with your booth. You had really good visuals, by the way, at your booth. It was amazing. And they had some really good flavors there. Narek and Tori were home runs. They came by the frat house that Saturday. A lot of people got to really sample and know more about what Heavenly was about, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to get the people connected with the brains and the faces, you know, and really have that conversation, you know, because a lot of people just don't. They're a little bit, you know, hesitant to try new products. My buddy James, hope your baby is doing fantastic. I think it's like, what, 10 weeks old? No, older than that. Big baby. Paul, what's up? Stefan, Eddie, the whole crew. I got the boys in here. Matt Dezen from the AM Hookah podcast. They were there. Adrian and Matt Dezen, first time meeting, was at the fucking frat house. It's amazing. They are not the same person. They are two different people. Who knew? So we got a bunch of people. Dimitri, what's up? Tony, what's up, buddy? How you doing? And my buddy Nader. I finally got to meet Nader. He's a fucking stand-up dude. I love him. Mario, Tanner, and Julian's in here as well. So, but dude. All right, let's break it down. Let's get the people. This was in it was in Vegas, South Hall. I always forget because it's in like the back of where all the Ubers usually drop you off. So like you gotta tell the Ubers, no, go through this side path. Don't drop me off. I don't want to walk a mile to the entrance door. Please drop me off in front of the thing. So it was in Vegas, man. South Hall 2 is where it's at. It was Saturday and Sunday, the 3rd and the 4th. Man, and then we had the hookah battle, which we will get into that, which was totally awesome. But so last year you had 24.
Vegas, man. South Hall 2 is where it's at.
Oh, I hear me in your. Is that I'm echoing in yours? Oh, yeah, the sound up. Oh.
Yep.
Come on, Jake. This is a technical difficulty.
I was trying to look at the comments.
I know.
I'm clicking it, and there's 71 comments, but how do I...
So you might just have to refresh the page.
I thought I was visible for a second. Sorry.
So last year, you had 24 like vendors, right? Like 24 legit vendors. This year you had 34.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work to up it a whole other 10 people, a whole other like new people coming in and being exposed to this thing for the first time. We had Aeon, which was really cool. They had that little tiny hookah. I keep calling it the Verbo, but Verbo is a fucking house renting app. Vibo, something like that. It was totally awesome. I loved it, but they sold out. I was bummed. We had okay. Before we get into it, Al Fakher came out, man. Holy shit! Like last year, man. I grew up smoking Al Fakher. That's my bread and butter. I have a whole kilo of orange citrus and mint down here for those days where you just want to go old school and put it in like an old school like pipe and just chill and relax. Man, oh man, they came out with new signage. They came out with new flavors. So for anyone who's saying Al Fakher isn't listening to the audience, well, tough titty, they fucking came out with new flavors. They changed Double Apple up. How the fuck do you change Double Apple to a bunch of people who don't smoke Double Apple and make it appealing to the mass audience? They put, was it Double Apple Chili or some shit like that? Holy shit. So when I was talking about it and had that like nice anise taste that you get from that solid Double Apple, and then it drops off with the like sweet taste at the end. So people who don't like Double Apple, this is your fucking jam. This is your chance to get it, man. Thing is amazing. So that new signage. So I want to see, like, I'm going to see if you noticed this, right? So I was at the Al Fakher booth. You had you had Dom and Mike from Oasis, who are always good at packing bowls. So those guys work fucking hard. Give them your money because they know what the fuck they're doing. They're packing, and I noticed something. I was like, okay, there's 3 separate booths here. All right, but there's only 3 flavors. Wait a second. Are they putting 1 flavor at each booth? No, that can't be it. That's not how it's done. That's weird. So I go over to Mike. I'm like, Mike, what's in this? What's in this hookah? He's like, he told me what the flavor was. I was like, okay, cool. I put it down. I was like, Mike, what's in this other hookah? He's like, bro, it's the same flavor. I was like, wait a second. You're telling me you have 5 hookahs set up for 1 flavor? I was like, that's crazy, because if you know, whenever you're trying to try a new flavor out at a booth, it's usually only 1. And by the time you get that hookah, and you're staring down the person who has the pipe, you're like, come on, motherfucker, like, I know you're getting that good smoke. You're like, yo, some shit's about to pop off past the fucking pipe. Like, I want to try it. It looks like it's going. By the time you get it, shit's dead. And that 1 flavor you wanted to try, you didn't get to try. So Al Fakher, woo, boy, You can go with any one of the pipes. It was the flavor. It was hitting good. Mike had it good. Dom had it good. Man, they were crushing it. And that style where like they had more than enough to sample and taste, and it's different. Like this one was started before this one, so you can see the progression of how the flavor goes throughout the timeline. I was like, this is so cool. Like, is it just me, or I think that's kind of like a little bit of a like change in the game as far as like flavors, like busting them out and stuff like that.
No, you hit the nail right on the you hit the nail right on the head, because I would say one of the core differences in just the energy between HEW2 and HEW3 that happened was that exhibitors, especially like the exhibitors that returned and did it, a second year around, or even some of them 3 years consecutively, they knew what to expect finally. Like, we were touching on this a little bit. It was like last year was the first time John and I got together, and they didn't quite know how the show was evolving. So it was like, it was more business to business. Is this like, what's this like open lounge concept thing? It was new. But then this year, and I think a company like Fakher coming out with a bombshell like this, to saying like, hey, we built this entire like booth experience. Yeah. And I'm not just saying like it was Fakher, it was like a whole like expo, but Fakher is like a perfect example because they've been in the game forever.
Mm-hmm. They knew flow paths of how to come in and out. They knew where people's eyesights were going to be. And not for nothing, but Fakher's like the grandfather of the hookah business. Like, they've been around. Everyone who's smoked hookah has smoked Fakher. You know what you're getting. I didn't know what I was getting.
Yeah,
like this
it's like
handcrafted.
How do you change that game, right? It's major.
Because it's not only like, oh, they've been around for 5 years or 10 years. They've been around for a fucking long time, and it's like instilled in your brain, like, this is what it is. That's how it's always been. Yeah. It's not going to change. They came in and changed it up with handcrafted batches, which is I think what they're calling it now. And I was like, oh my God, this is what we needed. We needed like the big guy on the block to come in and be like, I see what all you other motherfuckers are doing. Let us crack at it, and then we're gonna fucking elevate the booth. Like, their booth was like, they did it right. They had interaction stations where you can go and take like these green screen pictures. Like, they had it solid, man. So hats off to them. I thought it was like amazing. So like, what are some of your favorite like booths that you kind of? I know it's hard for me to ask you this because you're like, they're all my favorite. But like, what did like Fakher's definitely like. Yeah. Like up there, that was really good. I think personally, I'll go first, then you can piggyback. So I'm not putting you in a pigeonhole here. So I always like speaking to Omar and seeing what he's working on as far as the bowls. So he had some new bowls out. They had some really awesome like designs on it. Like, he's always super creative. He always brings out the alpacas. This time it was like a petting zoo. He doubled the alpacas this year. He went big. He went for broke this year. I know a lot of people love taking pictures with the alpacas. We had.
I'm not one of them. That one really dude, he was making eyes.
They're not happy creatures. They lock eyes with you, and they're just like, they think they're above everyone else. Like,
if we can like reference Exhibit A, I think it's on Omar's Facebook wall. But you see how far away I was standing from said alpaca or llama. Sorry, llama.
It was just grilling you. It was just grilling you from across the floor, right?
No, man. Yeah, I don't know.
So we had alpaca. We talked about Fakher. Azor is always like, they've become, for me, smoking, like, I was happy to see Tangiers there, and Tangiers coming out and showcasing their products, and having a presence there, as they should. But I was super happy because Azor is something that I smoke on the regular. I smoke Azor all the time. The dark leaf is kind of like my favorite. So it was awesome going there and seeing Azor doing their fucking thing, coming out with Rio Mint, which was amazing. I don't know if you got to try Rio Mint, but Rio Mint is like Bermuda Mint on steroids. It's like the old school cane, if I can say that. Sorry, Tangiers, but it is. Bring back old school cane. Tough shit. But it was amazing. Fumari. Let's talk about Fumari, because Fumari's, they go to everything, dude. They're everywhere. Anytime there's something with hookah, like CBD, smoking, sunlight, anything, Fumari is there, and Fumari has kind of like become the staple, I think, in my personal opinion. They always have like a solid booth. They have that booth where you can go and like relax and sit down, which at the expo, relaxing and sitting down isn't two things that you get to do, so being able to like sit down and chill is so cool. Do you like did you get a chance to go to like Fumari and just like check it out, like relax, like sit down anywhere at all?
I don't know if that's a rhetorical question or not. I mean, clearly the answer is no. I'm running around just making sure that nothing's burning down, literally, and just making sure nobody needs anything. My goal for next year for HEW
4
Quattro. My goal for next year is to actually have like an hour where I can experience this expo.
Yeah, because now the only time you get to experience is through pictures. Pictures that you aren't in.
And I'm never in them. Sometimes you see a blur. Like,
yeah. Jake is actually just naturally a blur. Like you can't actually get a bit of a good photo. It's impossible.
I'm like the worst person to ask. Like, oh, what was like the newest thing or the coolest thing you saw at the show?
The carpets were nice. I like the carpets, and the floor was good, and the ceilings were real nice, and the place didn't burn down. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Fire department said we did a good job. No.
I realized this year Hookah John went a little bit bigger with his booth. He had all his pipes out. He had the bowls. You could sample all the... I personally never got a chance to really smoke on the Soka when it first came out. So this was my first experience to actually try his pipe, which was pretty cool. A couple... Maya was there. One of my favorite booths. And Basim, like, fucking... I think having his tent... Nirvana had a goddamn tent in the middle of the expo floor, and it was awesome. It had like a really cool like lounge setup, like old school like Turkish style, where you sit on the floor and you can just relax and chill. This was like my home base because like I kind of got to like get away from everyone for 5 minutes. Like everyone was around me. I was like, please don't look at me. I just want to smoke some doka and feel like a human being, like I'm enjoying this. So I really love the fact that he came out with a different design from everyone else. He made it like uniquely his own. His crew was killing it. They were working so hard. And that's not to say any other crew, because like the people I'm about to mention next is Eternal Smoke. Now, when Eternal Smoke came to you, were you familiar with Eternal Smoke? You were just like, who are these people? Like, where?
You know, it takes a lot to surprise me as far as like, wait, where'd you guys come from? Like, this is like brand spanking new, right?
Yeah.
No, I did not know about Eternal Smoke beforehand, and when I started to get to know the crew a little bit more and like what they were doing, it's like, wow, this is fresh. This is like, you know, it's an added innovation.
It's nice. It's nice being surprised because they're not even out. They're not even out a year, right?
Yeah.
And they're at the expo, and not just like I have a little like desk and a little thing over it. They went big. They had a huge like setup. Like they had a nice glass thing with their banner.
Oh yeah.
With the logo, and they had all the flavors inside. Their crew was like constantly making sure like everyone who came by knew what the product was about. They had video games set up, and I love video games. They had Marvel Mortal Kombat. People were playing Mortal Kombat. Man, it was great. It was a cool, like, super nice interaction, and all their people there were like just nice people. Like, like you didn't feel like, oh, this guy's like a prick. Like, no, they all took their time out to talk to you about different flavors, and if you didn't like that flavor, they would recommend a different flavor, which was fucking so cool. So hats off to Eternal Smoke, their first year. I personally hope they come back next year because I think they killed it. I think they killed it.
That's why, like, even for, especially for their side, they like, put yourself into their perspective. They've never done. I believe this was their first time exhibiting at all. It's a lot to take in, you know, from like a brand or a company standpoint. So they took on this whole thing, not quite knowing what to expect either. But I kept hearing like, oh, go. Eternal Smoke's popping, Eternal Smoke's popping. So I finally like made it over there. I think it, you know, it took me a bit, but I finally made it over there. I'm just like looking around, like, man,
it's different. You can tell Eternal Smoke went outside the box with the thing. They tried to make it a little bit like, you know, exclusive to the people who are in there. I would personally like to see it blown out a little bit more, a little bit wider, a little bit open. But
next year I got to help you guys. We need a bigger boat for Eternal Smoke.
Yeah, like, I think Eternal Smoke. Like their creativity, you can tell there was a lot of creativity behind it, and one of the guys who deserves credit for that was Joe from Eternal Smoke. Hats off to you. You did a really good job. I think everyone was really impressed with what you guys pulled off. I gotta say I love my boys over Sky Hookah Distribution. Man, those guys are just a ton of fun. Just hanging out with them. A lot of people liked what they were packing. I think it was like Dark Side and a couple other like stuff that they had in there. It was just different. They had the matte pairs out in full force, man. It was great. Like everyone was having a good time. They had some bowls here, which I got one right here, the Dom bowl, which is one of my favorites. I love this thing. It's just fantastic. And they had some nice people there to keep you distracted if hookah wasn't your thing at that moment. But so Tangiers was there, man. Trifecta. I didn't even get a chance to really check out anything for Trifecta. Did they have their own booth this year, or were they sharing? Like, what was the? I don't know.
Yeah, they were there. It was actually to the right, or if you're looking in from the entrance, it was to the right of the tent, towards the stage.
Oh, because I didn't see like any banners or anything. I know they were there. I saw Zach from Strictly Shisha there at the end of the expo, and he was doing some like last minute deals and selling all the stuff out. So I know they were there.
See it, man. Too many White Claws, and I got to ask you on that on a separate note. I'm not up with this White Claw fad, but
no, bring it now, brother. Let's go. You got a White Claw question? I am a White Claw. I have my associate's degree in drinking White Claws by the pool. I am going to graduate next year to a bachelor's. Yeah, White Claw is the trashiest drink you can imagine. It's just basically carbonated like alcohol, and yeah, it's fantastic. But it's one of those drinks where you don't realize, oh shit, I had like 15 already. That shit's gonna creep up on me pretty soon. It's not like Tito's. Tito's you can taste it, be like, okay, I kind of feel it building up. But yeah, I'm gonna try to bring soju next year.
Okay.
We got to get soju. Get some fire water out there.
Like White Claw was HEW3. Soju's
Quattro. We got to see if we can get a Soju Venture. So we had Work Bun, man. I love their products. I actually just ordered some off of Hookah John's website because he's having a clearance thing right now. Clear the warehouse, right? And the bear bowl that they have is fucking finally on sale, and I got another poker, so I would say go head over there and check that shit out because it's cheap, like real cheap, and get it. It's awesome. Zahara was dope. They were there. They had all their different anodized hookahs. So are they yeah, I'm pretty sure they're anodized, all different colors. They had those in full force. I actually got to sit down there with Narek and Tori. It was a great time. That's when I learned. So did you meet Narek from Heaven Leaf?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how old he is?
No.
Okay, Jake. I'm 33. How old are you, Jake?
33.
How old do you think Narek is?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right, Tori. I'm putting Narek on the spot right now.
27.
You thought he was 27? I thought he was older than me. It's the nicely groomed goatee. It throws me off. I thought he was older than me. I found out he was 3 years younger than me, and I was like, holy shit.
30?
Yeah, he's 30 years old. His birthday was the weekend of the expo, I think.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, my mind was blown. I was like, so now I just call him my little brother whenever I see him. So, Zomo, down to the last two. I want to just give a shout out to Zomo. Zomo had a really nice setup, man. So, I was talking to Ferrari, and I was talking to Alex, and I was talking to Mo, and they told me they had to bring the shit in, like, on a crane. That big white, like setup they had to bring that shit on a crane? Is that true?
I don't remember a crane, but, I mean, it was a tall structure.
Yeah, and I was like, how do you guys get rid of this? And they're like, we have no idea. But they had some really good flavors. They've been retooling. Zomo's been retooling over the past year, probably even longer for the U.S. market. So the dedication is definitely there for people in the U.S. market to really try it. They toned down, when I spoke to Ferrari, he said he redialed up, redid all the flavors because there was too much menthol. So in like certain flavors where there wasn't supposed to be menthol, there was like too much. And he's like, they had to go back to the drawing board, and they listened to the community, and they said, okay, you know what, these flavors were made for a different market. Going to the U.S. market, we got to retool the flavor profile and all that stuff. So like hats off to Zomo, Alex and Mo, and Ferrari working super fucking hard. And last but not least is Zumerit. And we spoke about Chams and Steve and everything there. Man, they had these cool hookahs there, like rocket ship hookahs or some stuff. I forgot. Amy hookahs, I think it's called. These things were really cool to look at. They're like Zumerit has like a really good flavor profile. They have the gold, they have the blue, which is like the mixed and stuff like that, and then they have the dark the black bag for like, you know, the more robust hookah smokers, the ones that want that like really strong taste. And that was really cool. He had a really nice booth. He was giving away a lot of stuff, giving away so much shit, like goodie bags and all this other stuff. So hopefully you got a chance to check out Zoomerit. So that was the rundown. We got to talk about this studio not safe for work. What was this? What was it? What was, like, I didn't understand what I was looking at. I was seeing pictures of hookah related things, but how did that happen? How did you bring them in?
All right, so look, I don't know if they're watching or not. I kind of figured a question like this would come up, but I mean, I really didn't question it when it came across, because it's like, oh yeah, it's hookah artwork. This is totally different. This is awesome, right? And admittedly, when it came across to my desk, I had to start looking into this. The NSFW like raised a bit of a flag, like what?
They're like, what does that mean again? Like,
yeah. So I'm looking through the website, and we had to throw it to like our council. We had to really kick it up to make sure that everything was okay to do at this kind of event.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you know, we're still a relatively conservative industry. But yeah, no, and the guys over there are great, and they were just saying like, you know, of course, like we're not going to go full blown and like bring, but they're very much involved in kind of all the happenings that are happening, on the California level in regards to like SB 38 and 39. They've really been following this. Okay. They're very passionate. So there's another company that's just very passionate on the hookah side of things, which is why, like, you know, they do a whole bunch of stuff like media and photography and stuff. But this is like it's like a passion project for them. Yeah. But you know, they participate a lot, and they work with like different manufacturers on product photography for hookah, like you know, right. And then of course like the artwork, you know, from what I heard, like the response was great, but I figured you would ask something like that.
You know, I'm gonna like, I gotta be like, what was this? Because you know what? Yeah. It was all hookah. I was looking, Tangiers, Regal, you know, Eternal. I'm like, whoa, what is this? This is different. I don't know what this is about. But it's good that you're shining some light so people understand where they're coming from. They are community members. They do photography and other things, and they were just sharing their passion with the community. I think a lot of people were like, what was this about? This is weird. I don't understand like the nuances behind this. Like, why were they there?
And the owner of the booth said it best, because I don't know if you got a chance to talk to them, but I was like asking them like, oh, like what kind of questions or interactions are you getting, or like how did you even get into this?
Yeah.
So he was saying, he's like, yeah, you know, they buy online just like all of us. They go to shops, they buy, and their whole premise behind or their motivation on why they did this is they're seeing like online pictures or like product pictures. And you know, with their artistic eye, they're saying like, why isn't like the hookah like glowing? Why isn't it like the forefront of, you know?
It sounds exactly something that like an artist, like an artistic enthusiast would be like, oh man, we need to elevate this. We need to make this something else. Let's bring this up, and that's where it comes from. That's what people wanted to understand, like the connection, like what is this? Because I know not a lot of people went up to him because they didn't understand what it was about, so they didn't feel comfortable to be like, oh, I'm surrounded by lovely ladies smoking hookah. What's going on? What's this about? But it's so good that you shine some light and you gave us a little bit of backstory, and that's what we wanted to do with that.
Yeah, for sure. And like that's not the process. It's not like, oh, exhibitor applies for a booth. It's not just an automatic like okay, or it's definitely not an automatic no because we feel a certain way. It's not. It's like, look, there's a very few parameters that we consider guidelines as far as like, you know, eligibility to exhibit, and it's a very short list. Yeah. So as long as it passes legal, we're okay.
the Council of Hookah Smokers. I feel like you have like a round table, and everyone just puts their stem down on the table, and it's like, okay, we passed this. Like that's what black robes. Like the place is cloudy. Like that's when you say like a council. I'm like, oh man, this is the council. Oh man. Yeah. So there was a lot of cool stuff to be seen, and John and Jake, you guys just dropped a couple videos. I dropped a couple videos. A lot of enthusiasts, a lot of people were taking pictures. They've been dropping pictures of their experience and videos. So, like, if you did not make it out, there's a ton of way to see what happened. I know the FOMO is real. You feel like you're missing out. And, yeah, you were missing out. You got to get there. No excuses. Next year, make it your destination, man, because it's going to be awesome. Jake, I think you need your own booth that you can sit down at so people can actually see you and talk to you. Like, This is the Hookah Rev booth. He'll wave to you.
Black carpet crew. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people behind the scenes. So like anybody that even follows me on my personal social media, my crew certainly deserves all the credit in the world when it comes down to what they put in. Like even our team here, the team that's dedicated to the expo, there's so much muscle that goes into this, especially like the 2 months leading up to it, where it's just absolute crunch time.
Jake, I thought you were the muscle. I mean, you don't know this, but your nickname on the street.
I haven't really been working out as much.
Your nickname in the expo floor was the muscle. I mean, I didn't make it up. I mean, this is the community. They were telling me, "Hey, where's the muscle?" I was like, "I haven't seen him. He's around here somewhere."
Yeah. I know you were asking this too, and I don't know. I guess people are curious. Is like they see me, but they're not quite sure, right?
Yeah, they see you, but they're like, "Oh, he's running off to somewhere else. I'll catch him later." But that's the thing. That's the thing with the expo. Like you'd be like, "Oh, I'll do that later. I'll get around to that later." Never comes. You never get around to it. It doesn't happen. You gotta do it when you think of it. So let's see, guys. If you have any questions for Jake Jacobson, Hookah Rev himself, man, now is the time to fucking start putting them down in the comments. What up, Ferrari? How you doing, buddy? Always great to see you. You always like spend your time and you fucking greet me and you fucking always remember my name somehow. I don't know how you do it, but you always greet me. Ferrari from Zomo, awesome dude. Tony Palmieri. You know what? I'm not. This isn't the time or the place. I won't get into it, Tony. But you need to step up your fucking Korean barbecue game because you fucked up. A chef shouldn't be cooking raw food and giving it to people at a Korean barbecue. I'm just saying, Jake. I don't know much about etiquette, but I'm saying if you're a professional chef and I'm gonna have to get fucking someone to come in and be like, this shit is raw. Okay, Dejan, what's up? Dejan's in here, man. I had a good chance. We went out to what's that club? We went to the day club. Have you ever been to these day clubs? I'm sure you have, but these like pool party things. Oh my god, $100 drinks, fantastic. You just like I felt like a starfish the whole time.
Nice.
Paul says Eddie Chung, I have to wear suits next expo to confuse people. Is that an Asian joke?
I mean, I could use a lot more help from suits. Like, just put on a suit. I'll get you an earpiece. Let's go. Let's do this.
Jake's putting it out there now. He wants his own Secret Service. He wants a Hookah Secret Service crew. He'd be like, sorry, you can't. Jake's not taking appointments right now. He's too busy smoking out Fakher. He needs 5 minutes. Yeah. So just throw your comments down. What Mike Abagania says, Jake, show us those pants.
Oh man.
What is he talking about? What's going on here?
He's sharing some of our very intimate conversations that we have.
It's not intimate no more. Now you're gonna get like messages in your inbox about what's up with the pants.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll have to message me to find out, huh?
You got to slide into his DMs, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Cameron? How you doing, buddy? Nathan, man, hotbox, bro. Like, did you get a chance to smoke the hotbox? Now,
and that's one of the ones that we didn't quite touch on. Like, man, their rigs are so nice.
Yeah, like
so nice.
Like, let's get our reviewer hats on. Let's go back a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, cube hookahs, nothing new. They've been around forever. But when you actually go up to this hookah and you check it out and you see all like the ingenuity put into it, how the stem goes up and down, how like basically the purge system works, how like it has a built-in square diffuser, and he even had the little mola catcher, which was a miniature hot box that went on top. I was like, this dude deserves some shine. He's put in a lot of work here, man. And I think it's a really cool product. I think the more people try it, the more like he's gonna be like, shit, I have to make like 100 more or 200 more. Yeah. So Nathan, buddy, you're gonna be busy, you know.
Made in the USA, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, right over there in Arizona.
I'm a very big advocate for things like that, and you know, like in Nathan's hookah or the hotbox hookah is a perfect example. Like a lot of people get that sticker shock, like, oh shit, it's 329.
It is real, yeah.
This is where I butcher. This is the information that I'm not specific on. But let's say it's $350, right? So it's $350 for hookah. You get a sticker shock. But man, a lot goes into stuff like that, especially making it in the U.S. It's not cheap. And you know, I don't know how much people are following like the current economic climate, but the more we can produce
here, the lower the lower everything will go down. And I think if you haven't checked out the hot box, head over. Hookah John has them on the website, I believe now. And if you got a question, man, Nathan's a community member. He's a regular dude. You know, just you can go type in Nathan. He's gonna come up at the top. You know, like unless you have 8 other friends named Nathan, then you have to scroll down. But shoot him a message. Ask him if you have questions. That's what we try to do here. We try to make sure that you get the information you want, and we connect you with the people who have that information.
No, and you know, just to continue on to that. I mean, he didn't, because you said the box hookah is not a new thing.
It's not.
But hot box hookah comes out, and they innovated. You know, like the adjustable diffuser. You know, like the features that you were saying.
Yeah.
It's cool to see stuff like this pop up year after year.
Yeah.
And that's what makes.
Because Jake, I think we had like a conversation where people like the word last year was basically like, oh, there's not enough like Americans coming out with their own products. Dude, like 2019 is like the year of like the enthusiasts coming out. You have Pac Mats, you have Resin Kings, right? You have Nino still fucking cranking out bowls. You have Brandon George, you have Kyle Smith. These are all people who live in the United States who are making products here, and their products are really popular now overseas. So like, and then now we have Nathan making a product, and then also, I don't know if you got a chance to see a lovely 3D printed hookah. Did you see the hookah battle? This is my segue, by the way, into the hookah battle.
Are you talking about last year, the 3D printed?
Did you see this year's 3D printed? Do you know what 3D printed hookah?
3D printed.
Well, little known fact is the champs. The champions who won,
Really?
Hookah Villains, that sword is 3D printed.
Nice.
Yes. David Harris, Wayne Gonzalez, and Jeremy Bird. Hookah Villains crushed it. So they created all of that stuff from scratch. You know, they tapped all their friends. I think Nathan made the box, the big giant box that it sat in. Jeremy Bird and David Harris spent you're talking about 900 something hours crafting the sword with the down stem into the box. Jeremy was working hard on the whole stone thing. Then you had Wayne he makes the handles from Resin King. So when he literally took the sword out and of the hookah. It went from hookah to stabbing weapon immediately.
Yeah, nice.
And it was awesome. That was 3D printed. So it just goes to show you American ingenuity, creativity. You can come up with some crazy shit.
For sure. And dude, hookah battle, I did get a chance to break away and try everybody's entries. I was so blown away. Like I can't even single any one contestant out. I was blown away by each entry.
They stepped it up. Like if we're gonna be honest here, last year, all right, you know, like you had the fruits, and you know, a lot of people just went with the custom rigs. I think this year was the benchmark. This year was the benchmark. This year the Russians were like, oh fuck, like you guys can make shit. Like we were like, because we might have got dogged a little bit, and if they're looking at like the last 2 years entries, okay, I get it. We didn't come out with our best. This year we were like, all right, here's my hookah. That's a metaphor for penis, by the way. There's like,
thank you for explaining.
I got to make sure, you know, my audience kind of fluctuates.
The same age. So.
Yeah, you know, we get it, Jake. That wasn't for you. That's for everyone else.
Okay.
So,
gotcha.
But they put their hookahs out on the table and they wowed the judges. The judges, I believe, this year were like, oh shit, like these people need to come out and they can compete now. Like we got like the fucking we got the stamp of approval, and thanks to Hookah Villains for like making sure that we have our place on the market, and thanks for having the hookah battle at Hookah Expo 3 this year. So
no, it was major. There's so many people that are tell me afterwards like, no, we're gonna jump in. We're gonna take the throne next time.
Oh, it lit a fire under so many people's asses because they were like, they might have like, and it happens. You win a couple years, you rest on your laurels. Someone comes up, kicks you in the ass. You're like, oh fuck. And then you automatically start, because you're on that hookah high where like you're in the expo and you're like, everyone's like, oh, what the fuck are we gonna do now? Let's make a dragon. Let's go capture a dragon. We're gonna hollow it out and we're gonna make it into a hookah. And they start thinking creative, fucking crazy things. So it's so dope. I love it. And Cameron was a judge, so hopefully I will have the title of a judge eventually one day. Who knows? But let's talk about other things. These are some questions I got from people. They knew Jake was coming on, so they sent me some questions here. So the number one question was like, people were kind of surprised that the line was so long. And I know Jake was kind of caught. I mean, John was caught off guard too when he knew that the line was still so long and it was about like a half an hour into it. Is there anything you see that you can do to kind of eliminate? Because it's, I mean, I know you're at the mercy. Like you're using, those people did not work for you. Those people worked, I guess, for the expo. I guess those people who were doing the tickets or whatever. At the
they're hired. Yeah, they're hired by us, and it's been the same group for actually since the original show.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it, and that's the lines and the waits is the worst that we feel when it comes. And the same thing happened last year, but this one I would say was 5 times worse, considering I had to take tabs. We had to clear that line 5 times over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not okay.
I do know that you did try to alleviate that with the VIP tickets, and you tried to stagnate it for the people who really wanted to get in early. And I mean, even the VIP tickets, dude, you had like a shitload of people come in. And there was a lot of people there for the VIP tickets who came in early. But so I think the line was one of the concerns going next year, and they just I think people just want to know that like you're cognitive, because I talked to John about it, and he was like, yeah, we got to fix that shit.
We're absolutely on top of it, and I don't want to make this too long-winded, but really the intention of Hookah Expo or HEW as a whole is to make things an affordable barrier of entry for all parties involved, right? From the attendees, exhibitors, everywhere. Now, the ticketing platform that we use, they keep fees down for everybody, so that nobody's paying that I don't know what's the last time you bought a concert ticket through like Ticketmaster or Ticketmaster or whatever.
Yeah.
The fees are astronomical.
Yeah.
Now we don't want to pass that. Anyways, long story short, we're absolutely on top of it. The goal is to make the only line being if you're there early, then line up. But no, we've got.
I have a question here from Travis Litter. What up, Travis? He's asking, why aren't the QR codes used?
It's part of the system. That's part of, like, we don't have full control. Like, it's not our coding. It's not our but we're either changing the ticket platform or we're getting something custom built out. That's basically what we're starting on already.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I know that thing. So we discussed your role in this. So I think we touched on a lot of things. So John, being John, lovable John, the other day he put out a live saying you guys are talking about the future. You haven't even left Vegas yet. You haven't even left the expo. You're literally like 5 blocks away from the convention center. He's already talking about it. And that's part of the process, is like you sit down and you're like, okay, well, what went right? What could have been better? And, what are the things we need to work on and what do we want to add? Yeah. Is there anything, without getting you in trouble or me getting a message from John saying, take this video down, that you could say that, are just like maybe improvements or things you're thinking about adding or maybe, stuff along that line?
Yep. Yeah. That's perfect. So, and that's probably the biggest conversation that John and I have had 2 years consecutively. Because he sees things from such a different perspective. I see things from an even, a completely different perspective. And then we crowdsource the information, listening to exhibitors, attendees. And then we combine that to really hit our bullet points on what we need to touch on. It's not like the post show for us is not celebrating our successes so much as how do we improve this immediately out of the gate. And to put that into perspective, the first email that I sent out after the show, which was Monday morning, was to our ticketing company.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the first and foremost thing. We're touching on that. That's a big priority. Because even, you wait in line for 5 minutes, it feels like 30. You wait in line for 10, it feels like an hour.
Yeah, because you also don't want people being like, oh, I'm not going to go. I'll go like an hour and a half later. And, the line should be dead. They show up and there's still a line. They'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So immediately, the line needs to be mitigated. Like it goes without saying. Secondly, we're working on some different, we're playing with the floor plan a lot too, to make things even easier for exhibitors. Because the worst thing that we could encounter is that even with the kind of the structure that we have for our exhibitors, is that not everybody can exhibit, and there's a lot of other companies out there that it's out of budget, and I totally get that. People are just starting out. It's difficult, and then you have the whole cost of exhibiting. So further improving the barrier of entry for the exhibitor side is priority number 2.
Okay.
Priority number 3 is definitely to organize and structure the events. Even adding more to that, because I think the performances were extremely well received between Sir Bentley's with Carl Wolf and Super Socko with Chaos Tobacco.
Yeah.
Very well received, but I felt my heart went out for H2O Hookah, which was right in front of the
They
stage.
were just getting blasted with the audio,
And in fair warning, we were saying it's right the stage, but that's the action. That's the action areas too.
Well, I mean, they get a lot of foot traffic.
I think they might have got a little bit more foot traffic than they signed up for. But yeah, and then just kind of the noise level overall.
Yeah.
Again, we're not sure what to expect year after year. Like the line is a perfect example. Did I think we were going to clear 5 waves of people having to wait? No. Like we did not, because we don't know. Like when people say oh, how many people are you expecting? I could pull the number out of my ass and say, oh, it's going to be 10,000 next year. Wouldn't be true because we just don't know. So, that, and then just we're keep getting little bits and pieces. So we're just consolidating the information as far as what are the hot topics and what are the attendees kind of having issues with.
Well, Jake, you being here on Hookah University with our lovely fans here, any thoughts to maybe looking at including some of the groups a little bit more next year?
For sure.
I did it for you guys. I asked that question for you guys.
Yeah. No, the groups, especially the beta online groups, have played such a pivotal role in this community coming together, but more than that, all the new people that were coming in and seeing
so many new people,
so many people that aren't online, so many people that aren't let's call it day-to-day or online enthusiasts,
addicts. I get it. Yeah.
But they're seeing it, and they're even seeing the flyers. I saw people taking pictures of the flyers. Oh, I'm gonna look up Hookah University next. I'm gonna look up.
I saw the banners, and I know the other groups probably also very much appreciate that.
And that was, again, this was a first year trial. How do we link everyone up? And maybe this is a sore subject, but whatever. But we had originally talked about doing booths, having a space, and all that. But I mean, reasonably, let's we got to pay respect to the exhibitors too. I mean, they are investing quite a bit to be part of this, and foot traffic and seating traffic wise. If you just have an area where everybody congregates, I don't know. I don't.
I definitely can understand that. You don't want to take away from these other people coming in, spending a lot of money, and then you have the enthusiast groups kind of taken, and everyone's gravitating over there as a home base. You want people circulating, So
it might not work out that way, but at the end of the day, it's a hard question.
Listen, Jake, you have to make a decision. It's either you make no action or you make a decision, then you stand by it and you see what are the actions. So you saw this year, you're okay, so maybe next year, let's see how we can implement it. And I know there's a lot of conversations, a lot of talk you guys are going to be having, and I don't want to get too into that, but because I want to be so surprised. I like a little bit not knowing what's happening, man. It kind of makes me feel like I'm a kid again. Yeah. So really quick, me and Jake have been talking for a minute here. I hope you guys got a bunch of information. If you got any questions, type them in now. Please let him know. He loves questions. That's what he does. Questions. He likes it all. So, let's see. Let's scroll through here. Travis is it's okay. The other groups are better interacting on the floor than standing at a booth for the weekend. That's true. That's a big commitment. Being at that booth, you gotta be there. You end up like Jake, and you're just running around and.
Yeah, you guys don't want to be like me, man.
Yeah. Cameron says, and this is something I think we actually talked about this maybe a while back, doing something for small creators, having a small booth to run. That was, I'll be honest, they thought about that. They did bring that up, to be fair to them. But again, you have to also be fair to the bigger vendors too. You gotta make, he did touch on the pricing. You know, like how do we make the pricing so these smaller creators can come out? You know, like look at Nathan. Nathan just started the Hotbox this year. A smaller creator, he came out and had a booth and showcased his stuff. So it is possible. You know, you just got to be smart about it. And I know what you're saying, Cam, and I agree with you. But we can't. It's not a perfect world. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta within reason. You know. But I would like to see like more creators, because there's a lot of creators that just didn't get a chance to go out there. But I mean, the people who know, they know. But at the same time, I want them to get a bigger platform. You know, because there's a lot of people still that they can be kind of exposed to. And
yeah,
these
and
guys,
that's our intention too.
Yeah.
It's, you know, but at the end of the day, man, the overhead that, and I think everybody's starting to appreciate it a little bit more. It's just not easy to pull off and make sure that, you know, all your unknown bills are covered. And like I said, number two, we're running this as a business because we have to. I mean, there's accounting involved, and but yeah, so that's on that part. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you here a little bit because I've seen this question come up a lot, and I've seen like unofficial polls going on about, you know, potential location changes. Mm-hmm. Look, guys, just you got to trust me that the Vegas is the place to continue this. And briefly touching on this, between local laws, between being able to smoke inside, being able to have your backyard of your hotel room give you activities where you can't even do everything you want to do in one weekend in Vegas. You know, and it's hard to find another place to do it. The smoking age is another factor. I mean, I know how many 18 to 21s are coming into the show, and it's quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Now, if we moved, I would love to move it to California, for instance, or to move it even, I don't know. Probably California would be like the second contender. Or someone mentioned the other day, like Hawaii. I would love to do it, but I don't think we would all make it, you know?
No, I would be.
But yeah, there's a lot of thought that went into place, especially after HEW2, as to do we keep it here? Mm-hmm. It's next to impossible to have it as energetic as this outside of Vegas.
Because guys, remember, like, you know, I know they just had an event in Atlantic City, and you're not even really supposed to be smoking in those convention halls and stuff like that. It's not set up for hookah. Like, even when they did the hookah fair here in New York City, fucking New York City, right? They had a tough time finding a venue. They had to do it in a casino, and the casino thing was so small, no one even knew it was here. You had to go up several flights of steps, and then when you were there, you didn't even know you were there. Like, you got to understand, it's the venue is very hard sometimes, picking out a venue to do everything that you want to do, and you don't want to concede something, you know. So I think I mean, hey, I'll keep going to Vegas, but I get where they're coming from. Cameron says, can we move the time frame? Is it too hot? Is that why it's just too hot? Brandon Opperman says, I didn't even get to do everything I wanted to do in 5 days. I couldn't imagine just having the weekend. Yeah, bro. Yeah. But yeah, this is
what is that comment from Cameron?
Jake is hotter than the devil's left testicle in August. It is hot, but you know, there's plenty of pool parties. Yeah, I see Paul saying, what about the dates? Can it not be the hottest week of the year? It's hot because the Expo's in town. That's why. Yeah.
I will tell you this much.
It is hot, though.
We're probably going to play with the date a little bit. But summer is just like logistically, like as not centralized as Vegas is, but let's call it central, right? Mm-hmm. As a destination. Summer is kind of that central mark.
Yeah.
To do something like this between vacation times and all that. So
yeah,
I wouldn't expect too much of a play on.
Yeah, you're not going to change the seasons up, probably not.
No, and we don't want to like we're very much in tune also with other expo and show operators around the world. So it's like we're not trying to overlap and do something when somebody else already has a good thing going.
Yeah, because it's also like this now. Like you say, you want to do bigger and better, and you want to get more vendors now. Like if a vendor is based in like Russia, and the expo here is too close to the last expo that you just did, it's not practical for them to try to split that up and be like, okay, now we got to pack all this shit and then head to America to go to this other thing Now people are gonna start shying away. So you need to have that wiggle room with the expo, so companies have a little bit of time to decompress. They can look at their finances. They can make the trips. They have to ship product over, which is not easy. You know, there's a lot of logistics stuff that goes into it. So it's very important for them to know the dates in advance, but also not conflicting with stuff that's in their backyard.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, we are toying with the idea too. A little sneak peek, but making it a Friday and Saturday show.
Okay. Why don't you do why can't you do 3 days?
That's a lot to ask for, especially from exhibitors that are coming from out of town and working. 3 days working is hard, man.
It's rough enough for 2 days, because if you see their faces on Sunday, they are fucking exhausted. They are shot.
You guys remember the first day? So I mean, everybody is kind of. We'll play with the hours a little bit too. So by the time like 7 o'clock rolled around on Saturday, because man, Saturday was explosive. You were there since doors open. Saturday was explosive. So even like doing 8 hours, like even standing and doing this whole thing for 8 hours. By the time 7 o'clock rolled around, we were like, man, are you all hungry? And let's go get a cocktail. Let's.
It was funny because Saturday, like I left around like I think 5, right?
Yeah, too many White Claws. I get it.
So when you're saying 7 o'clock, I was like, what number drink? Well, I think I was on Black Cherry White Claw at that time. That sounds about a 7 o'clock drink. So, but I'm like, and then like all these people came out to our event, and then the day before they went to other events. I was like, man, it's a tough weekend for all these people. They are grinding. So I can get it about the 3 days, and also with the time, like you play with the time, like then you have to be like, okay, are the vendors getting the time that they want? Do they feel like they're properly represented within this time thing? And then at the same time, it's like, are we open too long where these people are burnt out, and then people are not getting the experience they want? So there's a lot of variables, guys. There's a lot of things you have to think of. Like I said, Hookah University just had a fraction of what they went through. I mean, it's great for the businesses because, like, especially locally, like Oasis was popping. Oasis was killing it. They were loving the shit. But yeah, man, it's tough, and I know there's a lot of like back and forth. I get it. I understand. You don't gotta explain that to me. It's these people. All right, so all right, guys. So if you don't have any more questions, we hope we gave you some information. We hope you were entertained a little bit. You got to learn a little bit more about what Jake does, his thoughts on the expo, a little bit more of what direction they're going for the next year. Cameron says, all right, Cameron, this is your last question. Can we get a day next year with a Dunk Jake and Dunk John just roaming the floor? Like a tank? Oh, dude, you guys would sell so...
Drunk.
Oh, drunk. Oh, I thought it was a dunk tank. I was like, yeah, let's put them in a tank and like throw the balls at them. Let's drop them in. You know what?
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
That's pretty cool. Like you just swap out people and people just throw like, that'd be great.
Hang on, let me take some notes. Hey, you guys want to know what I really do want to work on though? Yeah. Man, and probably too many people are going to watch this that are going to have to live up to it. But I was really trying to get that freaking 15, 20-foot Titanic slide.
What?
On the show floor, but
oh my god.
I don't know. I gotta see how I can pull that off.
Oh, I have a question. I have a personal question. So, like the expo floor, like, do you guys rent out that entire hall?
Oh yeah.
So you guys have the whole space.
Yeah.
So, technically, like, say you kept Saturday and Sunday, right? Could you still open Friday and throw like a huge party on the other side of the hall with like tables and chairs and kick off the thing with like a DJ and a fucking big after party instead of having to rent something out? Is that a thing?
I have no comment on the matter at this time.
I'm just saying, it was just a thought. I was throwing it out there. If it happens, it doesn't happen. You guys can put that shit on me. I'll take the heat. I'm good. I'm just saying, just food for thought. I think it would be fucking dope. We got to get Julian and Splice really super drunk. All right, guys. Thanks for, I want to dunk Chris Fernandez. That's not nice. My hair can't handle it. Maybe Jake's. Jake's is perfect all the time. So you got angles and shit. Thank you guys for coming in, checking us out. We're going to try to do more classrooms. We're going to get some more people on here. talk about nonsense, talk about fun stuff, talk about hookah products, and all that good stuff. So until next time, guys, later.